Indie beats.
This shit hit different when you got it at the mall, yo.
Yo, what up, YouTube? Real quick, I know same shirt, but I decided to do a second video because I really wanted to talk about something that's kind of perplexing, and not even perplexing. A lot of homies have been hitting me up about this dude Choloani, and for the most part, dude seems I won't even say seems solid. You know what I mean? He just seemed like he was going another route. Maybe he found, you know, he liked the culture. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, cause some people, you know, like I said, back in the days, you know, fools had their hair like slick back. Then, you know, the 90s came and fools went pelon, and being bald was a thing. And then, you know, then you have fools doing the fades after that. And then, you know, and then in jail you had homies that were, you know, with long hair, and they were doing more than Dejina feel because they were trying to get back to their roots. They were still savage, but they were trying to embrace more of their roots. So it was which is an honorable thing to represent that from which you came, you know what I mean, and your ancestors. Now, when I seen the Choloani, it was just one of those things that was like, you know, he had a cool little vibe as far as like his dances, and just, you know, I've heard some of his teachings, and just was like, you know, I had to give him his. Did I try to interact with him, reach out, or do anything of the nature? Nah, because at the end of the day, it's just like when you say certain things, there's just, you know, there should be a certain limitation. But who am I to really speak on another individual and tell him what he should not say? You know, and some people have certain blessings, so it's like you got to be really careful on exactly where you go with these individuals. Some dudes are really reputable cats and got major reach in a lot of different places. So to offend somebody just because you may not like that they're doing a little bit too much is something that can get you caught up in the end. You know what I mean? I've seen it a million times. Fools say something about some fool, he's a righteous dude, this dude's a righteous dude, this dude just happened to have more, you know, of an influence, and then this dude ended up getting got, you know what I mean, because he chose to speak about something that he should have just let go. Now, with all this being said, like, I understand whatever happened with this dude, like, you know, people said that he turned out to be a phony. I didn't dig too deep into the information because I didn't really care. At the end of the day, he didn't change my life, he didn't impact my life, and he was just another dude with suit on him, you know what I mean? The same way somebody could look at this and be like, oh, you know, black homie, blah blah, until they really get to know me. It's just another dude, you know what I mean, that represent. Because understand, I say this a lot, nobody's bigger than the program, and that's plain and simple fact. That's why I'm unable to get on here and really say anything, which is part of it is teaching, and others just, you know, you're not supposed to get into certain things, so we refrain from saying certain things out of respect, you know what I mean? Who are we to really speak on certain things? Now, I've seen some of his videos, and he, you know, for the most part, he was doing his teaching, but there was some things that he, you know, he started going into as far as like the prison and like really like how shit got established. And that's when I was just like, ooh, then red flags started going up, because, you know, for the most part, people know when it comes to certain business, they don't want it out there. And the only ones really putting it out there is these PCs, dropouts, and fools that were, you know, you know what I mean, but are no longer, you know, so they don't really fear it anyway because they're no good, you know what I mean? So they feel like they can tell their story, which that's them, you know what I mean? My shit is a whole different platform. I talk about things that I choose to talk about. Now, the dude Choloani, when you first seen him, it was like he had the whole Indejina feel, you know, had the whole, you know, straight, you know, campo, you know what I mean? But then when you start, you know, talking to other homies, they're like, nah, it ain't all what it's cracked up to be. So I was smart enough basically to stay away from it and not feed into it, because like I said, it was nothing really impactful for me. I felt like he was speaking of his culture to his gente, but then you find out that he's not actually. Well, anyways, to make a long story short, man, there's a lot of dudes on the internet right now that are speaking up on this particular cat, but yet at one time you go on my videos and then you look at my comments and you'll find some of these same cats mad at the fact that I was disrespecting DOs, 2.5s, PCs, and we really had an issue with the fact that I said it's fuck them straight out. they really had issue with that. They felt like it was, I don't know, dude. I don't know, you know, because a lot of these dudes are supposedly solid homies, or at one time were righteous homies. And then soon as I started to say fuck these fools, then it's like, oh, you shouldn't do. Everybody has a reason. Understand, man? I don't care what you piece it up for. You have no reason. You're a punk, straight out, dude. It's just what it is. It ain't trying to be tough on the internet. It's just righteously, you're a punk because you. You know, firecrackers, if I, a black fool, can go into prison and represent, and I still represent, fools hate it that I represent as hard as I do, but it's a love for a culture that I just never gonna drop. Regardless of who likes it, it is what it is. Same way as being the patriotism. Some people don't like that I'm a patriot, but I don't live my life for them. I do what I want because that's what I'm born to do. Now, with that being said, because I kind of went on a rant, you know, it's understandable. Call out this dude Choloani. Call him out, you know what I mean? Point out everything that he's did and all the false shit that he's put out there, because everybody hates a fake. But you also gotta start calling out these channels that are supposedly homies, but at one time was against me saying fuck 2-5s. And it wasn't because they felt like it was exposure, or, you know, that I shouldn't give them any type of energy. They were just mad because they felt a sympathy. They were sympathizers for these PCs that had locked it up. Like, oh, they had a reason, or what if you were put in that position? I've been put in that position a lot of times, not in fold. Plain and simple fact. I ain't gonna go into stories because that would in fact get me in trouble. But yeah, I've been in a position where I could have folded a gang of time, just didn't do it. Because at the end of the day, I would rather a fool put me down like a dog than for me to make my hood look bad. It's just what it is. You know, a lot of us that are not Mexicano had a decision to make in the 90s, and we chose to represent. So you choose to represent, you take everything that comes along with that. Now, with that being said, the whole reason I chose to put this video out is because I see these same cats acting like, you know, they're not impervious, but they feel slighted by the simple fact that dude was a fraud. But yet these dudes are the same ones. Look at, I deal with these cats all the time. I got cats that I used to be cool with. They don't bang, they don't do nothing. They look like they bang, but they don't bang. The same ones that's on here like, hey, you know, peace treaty with these fools, peace treaty with these fools. Hey, Zah, why you speaking against the Norte? Like, you know, there's still raza and all that. Understand, dog. I'm black and Panameño, so you know, I get it from your point as far as like gente, you're trying to solidify something, but until somebody tells me, you know what I mean, in which can no regular freaking homie or no non-active or non-affiliate tell me what I should do, I'm gonna do what I want. Now, the whole thing with the whole northerner thing, that's outside of my hands. That's outside of my hands, dog. It is what it is. But I stay in my lane. I'm not going out there pressing these fools or trying to. But I understand, just like they understand, it's what we represent, dog, and it's something that we were willing to die for, and still willing to die for. I mean, hence the fact that, you know, that I'm still out here. But it's like a lot of fools, I could call them out by names, dog, and they're fake as hell. Like they're trying to play multiple sides, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you got fools that you don't know whether they want to be Caucasian, you don't know whether they want to do this, and whether, because they're constantly straddling the fence. Never keep it 100%, constantly straddling. You know, 1 minute you're wrong because maybe your message isn't positive, then you hear them ranting on the video about somebody else because maybe their honor has been offended somehow. Or maybe a person didn't like their message, so instead of just being a man and having a basic conversation about it, they get to disrespecting. And that's all I'm gonna say on that, man. Just, you know, pay attention to these cats that are offended by this dude right now, because a lot of these cats were the same ones pushing for peace treaties up north, and, you know, are all handed together. And don't get me wrong, it's a positive thing. And if it happens, it's a positive shit. Who's against positivity? Who's against positivity? But don't let these cats fool you, because a lot of these dudes that's pushing for that shit, they ain't nothing. They ain't nobody. They don't bang. They ain't never banged. They don't know the strife. They don't know the type of activity that motherfuckers have dealt with in prison, going head up with fools. They ain't never seen homies get blasted. Man, I'm telling you, when I was in fucking, I think, High Desert or Calipat, I get shit for, I find out the homie get booked. He get rushed by the, you know, them. And it's like, so it's like you know, these fools that be out here pressing for this certain shit, they ain't never been nowhere, dog. They ain't even homies. They're just fools that look like it, dog. It's one thing to portray an image, and it's one thing to really be out there full-fledged, willing to give your life for it. Dog, I spent a lot of years in prison giving my life for something that people say I had no right to represent, but I did it anyway. And that's just me, you know what I mean? But with that being said, man, hopefully everybody enjoy your day. But the dude Choloani, whatever, he's a fraud, you know what I mean, as far as from what I hear. But a lot of these other fools on YouTube that be talking, these fools are same ones sucking his, you know what I mean? Now they trying to distance themselves. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to them cats, dog. You know what I mean? Low energy at all times. Them fools are low energy at all times. Anybody that has ever met me know that I'm cool as hell, but my energy is always there if need be. These other fools, man, low energy. The same ones that speak up on me, but in person won't do absolutely nothing. That's a fact, dog. That's a fact. With that being said, man, everybody enjoy your night. And I got other videos, but you know, I've been trying to get this event together, and you know, it's already done, you know what I mean? But July 10th, we going up, Temple City, let's go. But I'm out.
Kneel before Zod!